Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Lounge Podcast, episode 92. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and as always, I'm joined by Dory. How's it going, Dory?
It is going great. I had my D&D game today, which is always a blast. I haven't been gaming much this week, so we're not really going to talk about gaming from my side. I keep meaning to play Black Mesa, but I just simply don't, and I watch The Sopranos instead. So that's what I've been doing this week instead of gaming, not to mention working on my D&D stuff. But we do have some other stuff to talk about, including news, the future game show, and a game that Seb has been playing, Pokemon Pokopia. But we're going to start off with talking about Xbox Project Helix and then move on to the future game show where Seb and I both had a good number of games that we were interested in. So that's what we'll talk about today.
So, jumping right into the first topic, Project Helix has been revealed. Well, it's not, we have not seen what it looks like, we have not seen the price, we've not seen anything like that. All we know is that it's the next generation of Xbox hardware. And so, this is the code name of the next Xbox. It's designed to deliver a major jump in performance compared to current consoles. And the big idea behind it is making Xbox less of a closed console and more of a gaming platform that connects to PC and console. So, what was your first reaction to this news?
Yeah, it looks snazzy. I mean, it's just a developer kit. It even says XDK on it. So it's not the final product by any means, but I think it looks cool for what it is. And it's very, very basic in terms of the photos that we're seeing here from Microsoft Game Dev at GDC, and was on March 11th. They showed this off. I think what's interesting about this, and others have pointed this out too, is that it looks a lot like, and IGN says this on the surface. It looks like an Xbox, an Xbox like the Xbox Series X and S that we have right now. At least in terms of what the dev kit looks like. That doesn't mean that it's going to be the same exact one. There was also another one they used to show off called Project Scorpio, which looks kind of reminds me of like a classic NES or something like that. I don't know if you've seen that picture, but it reminds me of like an NES. So yeah, I don't know if they're going for a more retro feel or they're just gonna like make it like Xbox Series X and S, but just maybe a little more streamlined, like it's the X and S too. But they don't want to call it that yet. I'm hoping they come up with a better naming convention because I thought X and S was kind of lame. But yeah, I mean it looks sleek, but it's a sneak peek, like you said. It's not the full thing. We don't have all the specs. We just know they're working with AMD, so it looks cool. But my investment in the Xbox ecosystem is at an all-time low. So, which is ironic given PC. But I like the look of it.
So, as Dory said, it's using a custom AMD processor. It's a system on chip. It combines the CPU and the GPU into one chip, designed specifically for this Xbox hardware. Microsoft says the system will deliver a big improvement in graphics power, especially with ray tracing. The new hardware is built to support more advanced lighting, reflections, and visual realism in the games. The console is being designed alongside the next generation of DirectX graphics technology. It will use a new version of AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution (FSR), upscaling to improve performance and image quality. It's all the rage right now between AMD and NVIDIA with the AI upscaling and all that. And of course, it's using AI and machine learning features. The graphics system will incorporate machine learning tools to help render games more efficiently. This can boost frame rates and improve visual quality without requiring as much raw power. Again, all the rage right now. And then, Dor, you added this Blue Sky post.
Yeah, so somebody was talking about how the AI is going to be used. So I'm pretty openly not a big fan of the way that they implement AI. I don't think AI is inherently bad, although I think generative AI is inherently bad. But yeah, American Truck Songs on Blue Sky posted from GDC that they are using Gaming Copilot. So it's basically Microsoft's Copilot. And according to Microsoft themselves at GDC, 90% of early uses was just to chat with the AI as a companion, which feels ill-needed, but that's what they want to do. And then the guides that they use here are seemingly lifted out without credit from the internet, but that could change and they could credit people later. Um, But yeah, it's not looking good. But I'm not necessarily here to just to get on my high horse about AI, just to kind of report what's coming out. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this, but we don't need to get bogged down in that, at least not yet.
I think it depends how it's used. I generally don't like AI when it's used for art, like recording people's lines or
Sure.
generating art, which takes from other people's work. As a companion AI, like it's pretty much the same as using Google. I mean, if I'm like playing on this console, like, can I do a cool feature where like I can talk to the AI and like give me a walkthrough or something like that? Like pull up a guide for me. Like to me, if it's like a search engine, I think that's totally fine. I don't see the problem with that. I'm inherently against AI used when it's used for art only, really. So
Yeah.
this doesn't seem like an issue on the surface. I mean, I need to see all the features before I can make any strong opinions about it. But a
Right.
companion AI could be cool if done right. It just depends on how they do it and all that stuff. But
Right.
it's not
Yeah,
nothing
I
I
mean,
just
I think Microsoft has a mixed track record with their own Copilot stuff.
yeah
I would say, outside of art, there's still issues with the way AI specifically can take things and not credit, like they're talking about here. But
yeah
obviously, if that changes, that's different, right? I just don't like art being, or not art, people's guides being used without credit. I also just think efficiency wise, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like you have even on a lower level, you have the PS5 like button that you can press and you can do like guides and stuff like that. I've never in my life used those. I don't know anybody who does. Maybe you do.
no
Maybe other people do. I don't know.
I use
But
it.
I just
I don't mean to cut you off. I used it in the beginning when it first came out, but it really became a useless feature. Like, almost no
yeah.
games really used it.
I I think that's going to be similar, just simply because, and it's not even anti AI or whatever. It's just simply because people have their phones and they'll just use those instead of navigating through Microsoft layouts. I think that's the other issue too. Here is like Microsoft often has a very mixed track record, when it comes to the Ally and stuff. It's not horrible, but I think there have been. I've looked at a lot of reviews, and I think there's a good consensus that when it comes to combining Microsoft's kind of firmware and or software or whatever with gaming, it gets a little tricky because Microsoft isn't inherently built for that. But yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. They could improve it. They could actually credit people who made the guides, and maybe it'll be super helpful. But I just feel like it'll be similar to the PlayStation, where it's like it's nothing inherently unethical as long as they source people, but because it's other people's work and they need to credit it. But as long as they do that, yeah, I don't see a huge issue here. It worries me just because I don't trust these corporations with this technology. But we'll see what happens with it ultimately. Right now, it's just a test product. It's just a developer kit. So I'm not gonna you know, get super worried about it right now, at least in this way.
Yeah.
I just think more than anything, it's just going to be ineffectual, and people are just going to go, "Okay, I'll just look this up on Google." Like, why would I use the built-in desktop, the built-in console browser or built-in AI assistant when I could just talk to my phone and get it in seconds? I just think that stuff is usually pretty clunky. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll make it better, but I don't know. Microsoft has a mixed record, like I said, with Copilot, and as far as I'm aware, has not been doing great with it in terms of cornering the market. So it's a big we will see, but I have some trepidation about it. But yeah, that's the AI machine learning stuff.
I've just viewed it as like searching up like like pulling up a browser and it's searching up for you like a Google AI does, and just shows you a source that you just click on, takes you to a guide or something like that. But I didn't
Yeah,
think it would generate like a guide or anything. But I'm not really familiar with Copilot. I don't ever use Microsoft for AI. Like my school
yeah,
encourages me to use Google Gemini, and then I use ChatGPT for like quick stuff. So I don't know how. I'm not familiar with Copilot really. So I don't
yeah,
use Bing. I don't use anything Microsoft. Pretty much.
yeah.
The only
It
thing
always
I
weirds me out when professors use Bing or something like that. I'm like, who uses Bing anymore?
yeah, the only thing I use is Windows, just because I have no choice.
Right.
I'm not really into Linux, even though I have nothing against it. All
Right.
right.
Yeah, I tried that a while ago, or a long, like 10 years ago, and I couldn't understand it at all. So I used Microsoft by default. But anyway,
With all that said, this excites me. This pretty much kills any interest I have in the Steam machine. Pretty much, like, because if this is gonna be stronger and a legitimate next generation system, where the Steam machine's weak and it's barely on the level of a PS5, I'd rather just wait and spend the money on this. But again, it really depends on the price because
yeah.
this sounds expensive. This sounds like it's gonna be over $1,000 easily.
Yeah, I was gonna mention. So there's an article from Polygon, and although obviously they don't know for sure, a YouTube channel that we've talked about before when it comes to the Steam machines, Moore's Law is dead. Says that the final silicon has a larger size than the PS6 more similar to a PC than a console, more and therefore will be likely more powerful and more expensive. So. Um, Bond said in 2020, Sarah Bond, by the way, said that the Xbox team was targeting, quote, the largest technical leap you will ever have seen in a hardware generation, which is a wild statement. But yeah, it could be as much as 1,000 if they want to make a profit. If they want to make a better profit, they're going to have to make it higher. So personally, for me, I'm okay with taking a hit on specs if the price is better. I'd also rather support Valve as a company than Microsoft.
Yeah,
But I totally understand wanting to take that next leap and not being held back by Steam Machine, because, like you said, it definitely is like just barely on the level of a PS5, right? So
yeah.
there is absolutely a cut you're taking.
Yeah, because that Steam machine's going to be more expensive than they want it to be because of what's going on in the world, and I don't
Yeah,
think it's going to be worth the money at that price point.
yeah, and you're probably right. I'm probably going to wait until it goes down in price or this RAM crisis is ever done.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I mean, I'm doing fine with my PS5 and my PC. If that's my worst case scenario, I'm doing okay. But yeah, I wish it wasn't like 700 or
but
800 or whatever it's going to be. But that's
yeah.
the unfortunate reality.
So my question for this is how much it's going to be, but also like how much of a game changer is this? Like I feel like in the hardcore space, like a tech enthusiast, like this is a really major major move in the industry because we never had a console slash PC hybrid like this, like where it's
Right.
like it's a box under your TV that can also play PC games. So like that's why people were so excited for the Steam machine, right?
Yeah.
Because we haven't had a legit hybrid like this since like the Steam machine in 2015, which was a disaster. It was not
Yeah.
good, and Microsoft, for all their faults, can make really good hardware. I mean, the Xbox Series X was a great console. It just had all the issues with it were all like nothing to do with the console itself, right? It was all just con- executive decisions and
Right.
purchases and Game Pass going up. Like it had nothing to do with the console itself. The Series X was legitimately a great console and is well built and had no issues. It was great. So I trust Microsoft building the console itself. I think it's going to be a great machine. I think the specs are probably going to be really good. Like this excites me. Like I'm probably the audience for this because sometimes I don't feel like sitting at my PC and want to
Yeah.
play a game under the TV or something. Is an option for me now. That's why a Steam machine appealed to me. So I'm in the boat now where I'm not going to get the Steam machine for sure now, and I'm just going to wait and see where this comes up with the specs and how much it's going to be and the strength of it. So this is exciting to me. Now my question is for the general audience who's not going to buy this because it's going to be too expensive. Is Microsoft going to subsidize this because like it's you can't sell a console for like $1,500? I don't think anyone's gonna buy that. Like the general
Yeah.
audience. I'm talking about the people that play Fortnite and Call of Duty and Madden and NBA 2K. They're not gonna spend $1,500 on a console. Only the people like me and I wouldn't even say you, Dory, because you don't generally buy like
No.
really expensive hardware. I do. No, I don't do it every year, but I do it like when it's time for me to jump into the next generation or next PC or whatever. Um,
Right.
I'm only like 1%, not even of the industry. So I'm curious, who's this for?
Yeah.
Is this just for a premium audience, or are we gonna subsidize this and make it more affordable?
And a premium audience feels weird because Xbox doesn't seem like that's really. I've never gotten the sense that they're specifically for a premium audience as the Xbox
Exactly.
Series X or 360.
Never.
Yeah.
Th-
So I just don't really see what they're doing here. My guess is it'll similar to the PS6 probably be delayed because if this RAM shortage keeps going, I mean they're gonna have to sell it for over $1,000. Like I don't know. But yeah, for me this hasn't changed much. I don't have any interest in the Xbox ecosystem. I'd rather just be on PC. If I really wanted to hook it up to my TV, I could through HDMI or something. I'm gonna wait on that Steam Deck. Hopefully, it's not over 700. But even if it is, I will just wait until it inevitably goes on sale. And I'll be quite happy with it for my personal needs. But yeah, this sounds like a powerhouse, but powerhouse is not really what I want right now. Unless it's a PC, I'm okay with a PC powerhouse, but that's not what I
the-
I, I use consoles for ease of access, not necessarily for the specs
yeah.
at this point. But different people have different needs. It's fine. But yeah, and we already emphasized the Xbox PC integration, right? We already talked about that.
Well, that's my last question for it is how are they going to do this? Is it going to be like a menu, like you go in, does it boot into Windows automatically? Like, is it like automatically a PC at first and then you switch to Xbox? Is it like an Xbox mode like we have on the Windows already? You know, like that new thing they've done. The
Right.
is it an Xbox first and then like there's an option like a feature where you click on it and it takes you to a PC desktop and then it does it that way. So. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know either. This goes back to what I was saying earlier about the Asus Rogue Ally or whatever, because it is a Microsoft built thing. It's not like Steam Deck, which is Linux, or Steam, the Steam machine, which presumably will also be on Linux. Steam OS in general is Linux. It's Microsoft's the more closed system, and that makes it harder for you, as a general rule, to use other launchers, to use other kinds of games. So they're kind of working against what Microsoft is, or Windows is, I should say, which is going to lead to an interesting software tension where it's like how do you build this out of Microsoft when like again the Rogue Ally, it's the example I keep pointing to because it's the main example Xbox wants to tout. But when people are trying to use that, there is a little bit of finickiness. Now I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not saying it's unfixable. I'm just saying it is a challenge that they're going to have to overcome. They're going to have to deal with the fact that Windows is not necessarily built to inherently to deal with all these gaming functions. It's only in the last 5-10 years that Microsoft has started embracing gaming more and more to have a Xbox game bar, an Xbox app, being able to plug in controllers into your USB ports and have them actually display the right buttons and have it work with Steam, stuff like that. So it's been a gradual process for Microsoft. Maybe they can make it work, but I don't know. They're going to have to. My point is they're gonna have to put some effort in for it to work better than the Rogue Ally does, which isn't terrible, but isn't the best either.
Right. I think that's everything about this topic. I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
Yeah,
So we can move on to the future game show, which happened. What was it, Thursday? And I have 27 games on my list. And Dory, you said you had 15,
I think it's 14.
14.
Yeah,
So we're gonna talk about each game. We'll go one at a time. But we'll be pretty relatively quick. We're not gonna like go crazy with the details of them. A lot of them are repeats that we've talked about in previous episodes, so we don't have to go crazy with that.
yeah,
But there were some new games I never seen before that interested me, so I wanted to shout them out. And there was two shows in this showcase that were combined. There was like the show on stage, like with a big set, and then the second one was more like a randomly people walking around the city and just talking, and then here's a trailer. So did you
yep.
watch both of them?
I did watch both of them. Yeah, and I came away feeling like this was a pretty good showcase. Like you said, there are some repeats and games that I was already well aware of and interested in, but there was quite a few. There was at least like a few or so more games that I found out about, and we got some new details on one or two games too. So I appreciated it.
Yep. So if we have any repeats, we'll just talk about it at the same time.
Yep.
So the first game that was shown at the whole thing was Cordura, which is a four-player co-op. psychological horror game where sanity is your most scarce resource. While one player guides the team, the other explores shifting procedural Victorian labyrinths. And it says, lose your sanity, and the night will mimic your team to feed your paranoia. Extract and survive. So I didn't even know what kind of game this was when I saw it because they didn't really show any gameplay. They didn't show any gameplay. It was all eye candy and just like a CGI and all that. But it basically sounds like Amnesia, but like 4-player co-op, where like the game messes with you, your sanity. Um, I like the visuals and I like the character models. It has like this gothic vibe to it. The mimic system and the deception system sounds cool. The sanity meter sounds cool, right? Like I love when games do that. Apparently, there's a permadeath, and then there's a procedural generated labyrinth. So every run through is going to be completely different. So this is cool. With that said, the procedural generated and the co-op kind of makes me lose interest in this. So I probably
Yeah.
won't get at this, but I wanted to shout it out because it looked like cool. The trailer itself was cool, but
Yeah. I
yeah,
agree. This was kind of a bummer for me. I was like, "Wow, what is this? This looks cool." And then I realized that that it's exactly what you said. It's co-op. Um I had to go to the Steam store page to figure that out. But yeah, it
yeah,
was a bit of a bummer because I was very interested in what I saw, but then I don't really do co-op, and I don't really like procedurally generated either. Stuff gets repetitive very quickly in my experience.
yeah,
Not all the time, not always. You can do it, but in my general estimation, that's just not true or
yeah.
just not accurate. So
And then both of us have Stupid Never Dies on our list, which we both were pretty excited about, right? We both were really
yeah,
cool. We were really interested in it when we first saw it at another showcase, and they showed more
yes,
of it, the more of the story. And the best way I would describe this game is it's kind of like a Devil May Cry, like very action packed, every heavy game. But like you play as a zombie, and he can bite into enemies and steal their powers, and you can modify your body with body hacks, and you can do all these crazy combos. And but the biggest thing with this game is just the style of it. The visuals are really cool looking. It has a unique style to it. Um,
yes.
so Dory, why is this game on your list?
Yeah, so I love the pop punk soundtrack first and foremost.
Yeah,
It's it's kind of like what you say. It's like pop punk meets Devil May Cry
yeah. Was that
meets
game?
like a
Was that movie
roguelike.
Warm Body? Was that movie with the zombie
Yeah,
falls in
Warm
love?
Bodies. Yep,
That's what it was
yep.
giving me the vibe of.
And he's literally trying to warm her body, or at least trying to like get her out of the cold storage.
Yeah.
Um, there was one concern I came out of this with. Apparently, in the dungeon, you only have a certain amount of time. I
Mm.
wonder if that will get annoying to me, just because it will be a time crunch. Things that make me get stressed, I don't typically have a good time with.
Yeah.
No pun intended, actually. But yeah, I don't know. I still love the style. I still love how the gameplay looks. And I love the soundtrack. So I'm very much still there. But I
Yeah.
did put in parentheses time based question mark because it seems like the dungeons are you only have a certain amount of time, and that's based on the attacks you do. And I don't know. It's just like something that gave me a little pause. Like, oh, okay. I don't really think this needed to be a thing, but okay.
Yeah. Plus, I thought all the transformations were cool. He can turn into like a harpy. He can turn into a
Yeah.
werewolf. He can turn into like this big rock monster, and among other things, and the big like ogre thing. It's really. I mean, this game looks like a blast to play. So like this is
Yeah,
like a
I
day one.
agree.
This is like a day one game for me. Reviews aside, even if this game doesn't have amazing reviews, I think it's gonna be so much fun to play. I would still probably buy this day one. Like this is a game that I feel like would come out in 2005.
Yeah.
This like it's from that era, which I love. I'm a sucker for that. Like we both of us enjoyed Romeo is Dead Man,
Yeah.
and I like games like Chainsaw Lollipop. Even though it's not, I wouldn't say it's a great game, but it's a fun game. You know what I mean? Like these are kind of
Yeah.
like turn your brain off games, and I think this is exactly what this game is. And I think we're both gonna
Yeah.
have fun with it.
I agree. I completely agree. I'm still probably there day one. I will be paying attention to reviews and just the time thing specifically, but otherwise I'm still as interested as I was before. I think this looks great. I think
Yeah.
it looks fun to play. Like you said, this just looks like fun. So I'm very excited for it. I love that we're getting more and more of these games that could have come out in the mid 2000s and they're coming out
Yeah.
now, but with better graphics and better combat or controls.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
All right. So the next game on your list is Project Shadowglass. So can you talk
Yeah,
about that?
sure. Project Shadowglass. So let me just get that up on Steam because honestly, I don't have it out. Oh, this was sick. So this is a self-based immersive sim set within a dark fantasy kingdom. Plan daring heists, love that. Infiltrate forbidden locales and escape with priceless artifacts. Features revolutionary 3D pixel art graphics and lasting consequences where every action could leave a trail back to you. So it's got some retro pixel graphics, first person, stealth. It's very much harkening back to the Thief days. You got to see this trailer. If for no other reason, this game is amazing just because of the retro pixel art. It looks so cool, and then all the sound effects as you're walking and you're knocking out guards. I'm not always huge into stealth games, but I feel like a more modern take on it. I could be if it's more forgiving, like Dishonored is. And I love Deus Ex as well. So yeah, I just thought this looked really cool. It says it's a love letter to first-person stealth sims such as Deus Ex, Thief, System Shock. You play a struggling thief, mysteriously tasked by an anonymous source to acquire ancient artifacts hidden across the realm. I'm sure that won't come back to bite us at all. But yeah, it's really cool. You kind of by day plan and prepare, and then at night you have to, you do a heist, and it emphasizes that you're no warrior. You are alone, vulnerable, outmatched, and outnumbered. Um, so yeah, it looks really cool. I'm gonna go wish list it. Actually, I forgot to wish list.
All right. So the next game on my list is the Seventh Guest remake. So if you don't know what Seven Guests is, it's a classic '90s interactive adventure game. Kind of a horror game, and there's a ghost and stuff, right? But I was I didn't see this coming at all. This is one of the surprises for me. Maybe I just have not been paying attention. It's is it the anniversary or something like that? I feel like there's a reason why they revealed it.
I don't remember if they said it was. To be honest with you,
I don't no. There was their 25th anniversary edition like 7 years ago, but
yeah,
it came out the year I was born. Anyway, it, it's my kind of game. It's more for me like cinematic storytelling. They said there's going to be cutting edge, newly recorded volumetric video live action performances that are captured in full 3D. So it seems so. This one's going more for like the original game had FMVs, which was very common in the '90s because you couldn't do the same cinematics you can do today. So, but they're doing the
right.
same thing. Just they're just wearing the suits and acting it out. So that's cool. Of course, there's puzzles around the mansion and things like that, and then there's dynamic environments like the haunted mansion shifts and transforms around you with high-end visuals and clever optical illusions. You investigate every creepy nook and cranny. You unlock new rooms, hidden secrets. It's kind of like Resident Evil, like exploring the mansion, but obviously there's no like monsters per se. It's more of a puzzle adventure game. This is I want to support this mainly because this is a classic. This is one of the pillars. One of the when people think of like '90s mystery games, like this is one of the major ones, and I'm excited for this. So I'm not saying I'm like definitely day one when it comes out, but I'll keep an eye on it. I think it's coming to VR as well, so that this seems like a cool VR game. Did it say that anywhere? Not sure, but it probably
I
will
don't
be a
know.
VR game. So
Yeah,
yeah. All right. So Dory, you also you have
I think it's Calyx.
Calyx, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was Calx, but it's Calyx. Flow across the warped, corrupted planet Syro. Master movement as the Seeker. Double jump, dash, levitate, and grapple through the atmospheric ruins. Scan, solve puzzles, and engage in measured combat. They call it like very intentional or contemplative combat in waves of stillness and frenzy. Now, this is one of those games where Seb's going to be confused why it's on my list, probably because a lot of this is about puzzles and about jumping. I think it just comes down to the Dory special. I just really, really adore this art style, and I just had to shout it out for that reason alone. I also thought combat looked fun, and I this looks like a world I really want to explore. So I might play the demo just to get a sense for it. Maybe I will want it. It's unlikely, but it is possible. So we'll see. But yeah, it looks really fucking cool. It's developed by True Colors. It's called Action Adventure with some combat and exploration. Got some hack and slash elements. Yeah, it just looks really neat. I love the kind of hand drawn. It seems like it's hand drawn, like very artsy, comic book esque style here. Kind of like a sketchbook almost at times. Just looks the movement looks really fluid too. It doesn't look like I would struggle that much. Of course, I could be wrong, but yeah. And if that's the case, that just really just leaves exploration and puzzles as maybe like stress points for me. But if those are intuitive as well, then I mean, we possibly have a winner on our hands. So there's some qualifiers here, but I just want to shout it out for no other reason than it looks cool as hell.
Nice. All right. The next game on my list is Lego Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight, which I already talked about plenty of times. I'm very excited for it. I think this might be my first Lego game that's ever going to finish in my top 10 games of the year. I mean, everything I've seen of it looks like the next Batman Arkham game. Like this, the more gameplay that they showed was like this huge open world. Combos are fluid. The movement was fluid. All these classic costumes that you can wear. I'm so digging this. Like there's a giant open world and you can gliding through Gotham City. Like I don't. There's so many options of vehicles to use, and you can even play as different characters. Like they're showing Robin doing all these combos, and I'm so into this game. And it's coming out in May, and there's only like two big games I think in May, right? So this and James Bond. So I could dedicate a lot.
Arguably another game that we're going to talk about. Yeah,
So yeah, so like this is one of the big games for the summer. I'm very excited for
yeah.
this. So yeah. All right. The next game I'll just do mine really quick is unboxing Mr. Coup. They didn't really show much. The main thing was it's 2D animated, and I really appreciated that art style, right? Like someone dedicating to 2D animation.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of game it's going to be, but it sounds like it's going to be a point and click game. It reminded me of a game from the 90s, point and click, and I really like the art style. And they says it's going to be a innovative story that avoids narrative cliches and overused tropes. It has a vibrant art style, taking players on a journey through mesmerizing, dreamlike scenarios. Hundreds of notebook pages have been filled with designs which will appeal in the game. There's extra content after the first playthrough. Hey, they even put in how much playtime is going to be. It's 4 hours. It's around
Oh,
4 hours
cool.
long, and I think like one guy is doing it. It was
Yeah, it's
Nacho
Nacho
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, he's been in animation since 2002. He's done a lot of short films, music videos, and video games.
There is a prequel to this called, oh, I don't know if it's a prequel, but there's another game based in the same franchise called The Many Pieces of Mr. Coup. It's got very positive based on almost 900 reviews, so good for him. He seems like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I might check. I'll check that one out. See if I like it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's only, well, not only, but it is $15, which I think is a little more understandable given how much time this must have taken this guy.
yeah. So I just wanted to. I may or might not get it, but I just wanted to shout it out. Like support the indies. One guy doing a game like this is really cool. So and
Yeah,
I like 2D animation getting more love. All right, the next game that both of us have is Directive 8020, right?
right.
Pretty cool trailer.
Uh,
That was probably
yeah.
is goofy. It felt like a Nintendo. Didn't it feel like a Nintendo trailer?
It did. It really did feel like a trailer that you'd see for the Switch or something.
Yeah, it's a party game, right? Like we all know what to expect from it.
Yeah.
You control a bunch of people. You make decisions. You make the wrong decision. The person probably gets killed. This story is like The Thing, or Among Us, or however you want to look at it. Don't trust anybody. I don't know like how the co-op multiplayer works because the whole focus on this trailer specifically was the multiplayer. So like you play as different characters and you one of you can be like sneaky and be the bad guy. That's a cool concept, right? But I don't know how that would work. So Dory, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's another a game by the folks who have done a lot of, who did Until
Supermassive.
Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Supermassive. Thank you. I forgot their name. It's another one by Supermassive Games. Um, I tend to like their games, think that they are decent to great.
Yeah,
You know, I like Until Dawn. I like the military one. I can't remember its name. House of Ashes.
yeah,
I think that one's great.
yeah,
And all the other ones, I think are just decent. I haven't played The Devil in Me yet. But
yeah,
other than that, I've played all of them at this point,
yeah. They're
and I think they're
yeah.
pretty decent.
Yeah, the best game they did was the first one was Till Dawn, right? Like none of them
Yeah.
have lived up to that one. House of
No.
Ashes is probably the second best one, and the rest of them are like 7 out of 10s. Some of them are like the
Yes.
6 out of 10 maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I would say that. Sometimes the writing's really good, and sometimes it's like, what the fuck were they doing? Like I
yeah,
had that in The Quarry as well, which I thought was going to be better.
yes.
But yeah, I'm still excited for this. I
Mm.
like these games. I'd like to play it with Kim if she's interested, but I'll talk to her about it. But it looks cool. I love The Thing and I love Alien. So I mean, this is taking two inspirations I really like
Yeah,
and putting them together in a game. So yeah, into psychological horror, into survival horror, adventure, all that stuff. So definitely right up my alley.
yeah. This is probably that might be a game the both of us split on because we're
Yeah.
both very interested in it. And it's coming out in May. So is that what the game you were talking about?
Yes, that is the game I was talking about. Yep.
Nice. All right. So then, speaking of like horror, like there's Blight Survival, which is a PvE action horror game set in a brutal medieval world. You play in solo or team up with up to 3 friends as you face monsters and men in intense battle for survival. How far are you willing to go? So it says the game takes place in no man's land between two desperate kingdoms in a ceaseless war. Within this purgatory, a new strain of blight has erupted from the remains of the fallen. Fed and strengthened by the blood that has been spilled, it rapidly spreads, turning man into monster. As the people bleed, paralyzed by war, they have turned to you and your kin, the Rithans. Being the only ones willing, you've been tasked to venture forth and eradicate the all-consuming blight. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is it gives me like Plague Tale vibes because it takes place in a medieval setting, but it also has like this gray color saturation to it, very gritty. Uh, the big thing to me though is how the game plays. The concept itself sounds awesome. Like you're in a war with another army, but you're also fighting like basically zombies. And like how many zombie games do we get in this kind of setting? It really isn't, right? So the concept itself is really cool, and and the fact that it's also co-op and you play with your friends can make this game be possibly really fun. So I have a lot of questions for it. I need to see some like legit gameplay, like a sit down and like 15 minutes of gameplay. Because like these kind of games with like the behind the back like God of War games tend to can have camera problems and things like that, right? Like they try to match God of War and it just doesn't live up to it. And because that one game that came out 1348 X Vado has this problem, right, with the gameplay.
Yeah.
This game kind of seems to have a similar gameplay. So we'll see. But the concept itself, it sounds awesome to me, and it looks cool. So I'm digging it. We don't have any release dates or anything for it yet, but maybe this year. But everything about it looks really cool. The environment looks cool. The visuals look cool. I'm excited for what I'm seeing. So, all right. So Dory, you have Silver Pines on your list, which I also have.
Yeah.
This I knew this game was gonna be on both of our lists. This seems like it seems like your kind of game for the style. It's my kind of
Yeah.
game for the gameplay because it is a Metroidvania.
Yeah, and I didn't know that when I put it on, but even when I found out, I was like, you know what? I think the style is so cool, and I love Twin Peaks, and which the host very obliquely, not so subtly, basically said, yeah, this is a Twin Peaks ripoff. I'm like, we're not really supposed to say that, y'all. Anyway, but yeah, it basically it's taking a lot of stuff from David Lynch, but also Silent Hill, which I think is awesome. I love both those media properties. So, yeah, it's survival horror, it's Metroidvania, there's some exploration. From what I saw, the map seemed pretty intuitive, and that's really my main issue with Metroidvanias. It's just that it's way too easy to get lost, way too easy to forget what you've done. All it really takes for me to dig a Metroidvania is just an accessible, intuitive map and not a ton of backtracking. But unfortunately, the Metroid and Metroidvania ensures that usually there is a lot of backtracking. Now, I don't mind a little bit. I love Resident Evil after all,
Yeah.
but I almost always find backtracking annoying. And like games like Hollow Knight and Silk Songs, fucking love that shit. I
Yeah.
can't stand it. So,
The map of
but
this game
yeah,
the map of this game looks very similar to Silent Hill.
yeah,
Like very similar, which
yeah,
is not a bad thing. Like I think I'm with you on this. That like this is a Metroidvania, but it's not like a Hollow Knight kind of Metroidvania. It seems very
no,
I don't want to say linear, but it's more contained. It's smaller.
yeah. There's locked doors and stuff, but it's not like entire ecosystems of it's not
Yeah,
Team Cherry, right?
yeah,
So I think it looks cool. It has some survival horror elements too for scavenging for resources and getting making sure that you're keeping things well stocked so you can fight monsters and stuff like that. I don't know how tough the combat is. This is one that like I don't know if I'm gonna add to my wish list. I'm on the fence, so I don't think I'll do it right now, but maybe in the future I will.
yeah. This is a Metroidvania. Only I would say this is more of a survival horror game than a Metroidvania. Really, like you can make a case that like Resident Evil is a Metroidvania technically because you're like exploring a place and going into new rooms and you're backtracking and things like that, right? Uh, this is just basically survival horror, but in 2D space. So I feel like this is less of a Metroidvania and more of just like a 2D survival horror game. Like this is giving me major any survival horror game, Resident Evil, Silent Hill. Like this, the Silent Hill, this game is very Silent Hill in every way, right? The visuals, the lighting, the map, like the eeriness of the atmosphere, the monsters. I was getting major Silent Hill vibes. Like, did they call this Silent
Yeah,
Hill? I would have been like, oh yeah, that makes total sense.
yeah.
I'm also getting a lot of Alan Wake vibes from this as well, like especially
Hmm.
the protagonist wearing the jet, like the way what he's wearing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is probably day one for me. Like this is one of the best games of the showcase for me. Like this is the highlight for me. I had no idea about this game. I'm surprised I didn't know about it, but this is so up my alley. It's not even funny.
Hmm.
So I'm very excited for this. It comes out this year, so that's good. So we'll see. All right. Next game on my list is 1348 X Vato, which already came out. It got mixed reviews. I know the criticism of this game is like because it's a woman, lesbian, and woke. Apparently, I heard that criticism of this game, but the biggest criticism I've heard about is the gameplay. Right, it has a lot of gameplay issues and performance issues. That's the part I'll focus on. Um, I wasn't I when I saw the game itself, it looked like it was going for the Plague Tale vibes, but not as polished, and that's the vibe I always got, and it still looks like that to me. This seems like a game that needs a patch before I get it, and a
Yeah, big one
sale,
too.
and a
Yeah.
sale. So it is my kind of game. I like cinematic third person adventure games. It is my kind of game, but it needs the polish. So I'm gonna wait, but I will get it eventually when it's cheap, and then I'll play it then because I might enjoy the story or whatever. So I don't know. Have you seen any criticism of the story or the acting or anything? Because I know Jennifer
Yeah,
English in
I've
there.
seen some. Like you said, some of it's just garbage. Like it's just anti-progressive stuff.
Yeah,
But there are genuine criticisms. I would say a lot of the top criticisms, top upvoted criticisms, are thankfully not the like, oh, I'm so anti woke, so this game's bad.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's there's definitely some. But if you ignore the recently posted and focus on the most helpful reviews, it just talks about how clunky it is. It's rushed. It's people who are looking forward to it don't like it. It's the graphics are glitchy. The combat it doesn't really change, and when it happens, it's not that great. Yeah, it's just not a good game. There's nothing about like a fucking, it's not about the politics of it or people's sexual orientation or whatever. It's just not a good game, and I just don't understand why
yeah,
people can't just say that instead of getting people's sexual identity involved, because it's like that's not why the game is bad. The game is bad because it has major performance issues and bugs and glitches, and then the combat's just not particularly good. Like I was watching some
yeah,
YouTube shorts, and like even in that short amount of time, there was like some pretty bad graphical glitches. So this game just wasn't ready. Simple as that. It just
yeah.
wasn't ready to come out. They should have Put it in the oven, put it back in the oven for a little bit, 6 months or so,
Yeah.
and then try to take it out and see how it did, or even
Right.
release it in early release because the early access because this ain't it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they just do it for grifting reasons, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
All right. The next game on my list is Little Nightmares VR Altered Echoes. So this is the first time Little Nightmares is getting a VR first person view, and it looks pretty scary, right? Like Little Nightmares is one thing about that series is it has amazing atmosphere and a really cool story. And there's always a mystery to it. And now that's in VR, it's gonna be 10 times more scary. And I'm very excited for this. Like, it's coming to all VR platforms. I'll get it on Steam. It says, for the first time, experience the disturbing universe of Little Nightmares in first person through your own eyes. In VR, every sight, sound, and shadow becomes part of your reality, drawing you deeper into the twisted world where nightmare and truth blur. It says, experience an impressive atmosphere. Enter a twisted world where your fragility as a child collides with the grotesque scale of your surroundings. Every corridor, every room, and every object feels slightly wrong, drawing you further into reality to resist logic and comfort. Danger is constantly lurking in the darkness. And the big thing is that there's puzzles and there's secrets to find, and it's going to be scary as heck. You're playing as a little girl. Like, it's like a it's called Dark Six. It's like a mysterious figure in the shape of a little girl. This has everything I want in a horror VR game. So obviously not for Dory. You don't do VR, but
No.
I don't think you ever played Little Nightmares either, right? So
Well, I tried the first game and I gave up after like a half an hour. I was tired of dying.
no worries. Um, yeah, I'm very excited for this. This comes out in April. Comes out next month. So I will. I'm not saying I'm day one. Like I'm definitely gonna get it as soon as it comes out. But I will play it at some point this year. I I know I'm gonna keep going because I have more games than Dory, so it's just naturally.
Sure.
Um, I wanted to shout out There Are No Ghosts at the Grand. We got a performance, a music performance. I really enjoyed the song. I love the reggae song they played. This game is a musical, but it's also like a neighborhood decorator. They're cleaning up the neighborhood and renovating the hotel and the whole village. But there's also a supernatural mystery behind it. And it says discover our ghost story and song. And there's a small open world to explore, and they even use the word Lovecraftian mystery to it. It has everything I like in like a cool horror kind of experience. Like it's not scary per se, but it's like it kind of gives me like a Disney haunted mansion or Disney Tower of Terror kind of vibe. Like, oh, there's a creepy ghost mystery or monster mystery, but there's also cool music and you can really have fun and very colorful. I, I'm digging this. I've been very excited. I'm obviously I've been excited for this game since we started the Xbox show. I'm just very interested in seeing what they could do with this game and what kind of game it's going to be and how fun it's going to be. Because like the idea of decorating a whole town, which I'll talk about when I talk about Pokopia, is can be really fun and addicting. And then you have cool reggae music with a cool Lovecraftian story to it. This sounds really fun. Dory, what's your opinion on this game?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, just live performance is not really what I come for when it comes to,
Yeah,
it's not what I'm here for when it comes
fair.
to, yeah, gameplay stuff. So I skipped over it. All respect to the people who did it. I'm sure they're talented. I'm sure the song was fun. But as soon as I was like, oh, a live performance at, it's not the Game Awards, respectfully. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
In
it
the
was
game
random.
itself,
Yeah,
yeah, it was a little random. But I mean, I get it because there's a lot of musical elements.
yeah,
So I get that. But yeah, I mean, also it's just I'm not interested in the game specifically anyway, just because like I don't know, I've never been able to really figure out what the hell it's even about or what's going on. I like the art style and all the music I've seen is like fun,
yeah.
but it's just so all over the place for me that I just can't find a place to like settle in terms of interest. So it's cool. It's a cool little game. I hope people buy it. I hope it's great, but it just doesn't seem like it's for me.
No worries. All right, so we both have. Actually, no. You have Anarchy Road on your list. So why do you have that on your list?
Yeah, so Anarchy Road. You know me, I love some Anarchy. This is
Yeah.
a fast, has fast speed, big explosions, bigger bosses. Anarchy Road is a post-apocalyptic action driving game where four heroes must race against the clock. I don't think it has to be co-op, but I think you can do it as co-op. That's my interpretation. While blasting enemies, dodging traps in order to survive to the explosive end. This is just a cool, fun-looking game. It gave me some small burnout vibes just because of how
Mm,
destructive things are. Definitely some like classic N64 vibes
that's what I was,
in terms of the racing.
that's what I was getting. N64
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah. So I just thought it looked cool. Um,
It came out already too.
and it did come out already. It's got 4 reviews. It says 3, but there's actually 4. But 3 out of 4 are very positive. It doesn't seem like it's that long of a game or that big.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked what I saw. It looks fun.
Yeah, my only question for it is the price tag. This feels like a game I would get cheaper. I don't know if I'd spend $20 on that. For
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. Yep, 1869. That's too much for me.
and that's only because it's on sale too. It's like,
Yeah,
I think it's like what, $22.
yeah, 21.99. Not a great price for me personally.
Yeah, but something I'll check out later on. So I'll put it on my wish list. All right, the next game that we both have is Damon and the Baby, which is on. It's coming out pretty soon actually. It comes out March 25th. It's a twin stick shooter, action adventure twin stick shooter where you play as like a devil that's carrying a baby, and you go through like a whole stylish world where you're doing like a mix between shooting enemies but also platforming and then also dodging like bullets and things like that. It's pretty cool. Why was this game on your list?
I like twin stick shooters. I don't play them a lot, but every
Yeah,
now and then I can enjoy them.
yeah,
Like I remember Weird West, I really liked.
yeah,
I also just thought the central concept was really cute. Obviously, I'm a sucker for kids. I liked the art style, and I just like how the gameplay looked. It looked fun.
yeah. And it's from Arc System Works as well. I didn't know that, so I just looked it up. Um, and I generally like their games. I mean, the people that make Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball Z Fighters, right? So I see that style in this game too. It's very anime style, very Guilty Gear style. Um, looks really cool. This is one of the games I did not know about, and it's one of my favorite games that was shown. And it's currently on sale as well. It's $20. I need to see some reviews first, but $20 might not be a bad price for this game, depending on the length and how it plays and everything like that. So I'll keep an eye on it
Yeah.
for sure. But I like the concept. It's cute and it's a cool anime style. Arc System Works. It makes quality games. I'm very interested in this. So, all right. Next game on my list is Revamp, which I did not know about. It's a new game. It says rule as Dracula in this castle defense roguelite. Shape your fortress room by room. Command an army of monsters and step into battle yourself to protect your throne from relentless mortal invaders. A war waged for eternity for the love you couldn't save. So this game is very unique. It has like it's like its own genre in a way. It says you build a living castle. So you literally build a castle, and it's like a mix between like a card game system, a tower defense, and it was giving me like, like Castlevania vibes. I like the animation a lot. It has a really cool style to it. It says the castle is yours to shape. Expand it room by room. You literally build the castle yourself. You change the rooms around and you configure it between attacks and transform open halls into calculated gauntlets. Each room alters after the flow of battle, forcing invaders into choke points, layered defenses, and brutal confrontations. Mortals march in waves, blinded by a foolish sense of justice. So you're fighting armored knights and unyielding barbarians and zealous priests. And you command Dracula. When your legion wavers, step into the fray yourself. Move through the castle as Dracula and unleash devastating special abilities and turn certain defeat into victory. The better you build, the more lethal you will be. Design your fortress with the intention and exploit the shortcuts you carved into your own design. So it just seems like it has everything. I'm usually not a big fan of roguelites, but I just appreciate everything about it. The mix of genres and the animation, the style to it. So I thought this game looked really cool. So I'm not saying I'm day one or anything, but this is on my wish list. It is very cool looking. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, at first I was interested because I liked the art style and I liked how the combat looked. But then I realized you have to make your own fortress and you have to. It's like a tower defense thing. And like I don't know, I just wasn't that. Those two things are not for me. So
No worries. Another game that was on my list is Will Follow the Light, which is a story-driven first-person adventure puzzle game about a perilous journey through the harsh northern latitudes. To find peace and reunite with his family, Will must sail across endless waters, face numerous challenges, and ultimately discover himself. So the main thing they're showing is they're really showing the stunning northern wilderness. The visuals look really nice. It has great, really cool exploration and traversal systems. It has like riding on a boat, sledding with dogs, story about a father and son. It's very cinematic. There's challenging puzzles, and it has an original soundtrack. This game comes out next month as well. It's a walking simulator kind of game, right? Like it's a kind of game that's slow. You enjoy the environment, the atmosphere, the mystery, right? It's not for everybody. This is more of an obscure game. This is something I play occasionally. Like I'll play these kind of games maybe like 3 times a year or something like that. I actually really enjoy these kind of games. Dory, I don't think you usually play walking simulator kind of slow games like this, right?
yeah, I love narrative games, but walking sims not always. It depends on how well they are paced. And I mean, if this is a short game, that I don't mind
Yeah,
it being slow. Plus, there are parts where you are going to be able to be able to go faster, like when you're in the sled or where you're on the sails. But it depends on how those things control. And like I said last time we talked about it, I heard some mixed things on the controls, so
yeah,
that kind of dissuaded me from getting too excited. But yeah, it does look cool. It has some aspects that I like. Obviously, the single player focus, the atmosphere, the story focus as well. But there are also apparently some puzzles, and so I don't
yeah.
know. I can be hit or miss on puzzles depending.
Really, for me, what's gonna make or break this game is the length. If this game
Yeah,
is long, I'm gonna get bored after a while. If it's a perfect
yeah,
length, then I'll probably enjoy it overall. It probably
yeah.
won't make like my top 10 or anything, but I'll probably enjoy it. All right, the next game is Don't Nod's next game, Filion, which comes out the same day as the last game we just talked about, April 28th. And every time I see it, I think it looks cool. Like it, I like the visuals. I like the idea of exploring this alien planet. I like the characters overall. Gameplay looks pretty fun. It doesn't look like the most polished game ever. It definitely has the Don't Nod style to it, which can be, mixed track record, right? The polish sometimes with their games.
Right.
So I'm curious how this game is going to be reviewed. But from what I'm seeing, like I should enjoy this game. It's my kind of game. It's the third person action adventure game, and sci-fi. So every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I want to play it. So nothing's changed yet. It's taking me away from this game. Seems like my kind of game. So yeah. All right. Dory, you have Papa Needs a Headshot on your list.
Papa needs a new pair of shoes and a headshot. Papa Needs a Headshot is, according to the Steam store page, brutal Western steampunk FPS soaked in kin blood. Rip through flesh and bend the battlefield with your cursed metal arm. They are so close to saying rip and tear until it is done. Anyway, use every bullet wisely to slaughter freaks and abominations on your warpath. Keep enduring only to put a bullet in the skull of the man who made you. So, I mean, nothing super fascinating in terms of the story, but obviously it's all about the gameplay. It looked very satisfying. Now, visuals wise, I'm not going to say I was blown away or anything like that. Not really. But I think
Yeah.
it's more so about the gameplay. I was impressed that you were able to shoot out the barrels at one point and have those like crush some of the goblins or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some physics based shooting going on. Obviously action. And yeah, it just looks really cool. It's got some brutal combat, like it says, and you've got you can shoot out fire or shoot out ice. There are some bosses. Yeah, it's pretty messed up, but I like the way it looks. I'm not sure I'm day one or anything, depending on reviews, but I have it on my wish list.
Yeah, the visuals are what turned me off from this game. I think it looks a bit cheap, honestly.
Yeah, I do agree.
And that's like I was gonna put this game on my list. I was like, oh, I have it on my wish list just to keep an eye on it, but I need to see some full gameplay, honestly. But the visuals kind of turned me off. Especially when they show like this Titan thing that came out of the ground or whatever. I was like, oh, that looks rough. So
Yeah.
it looks like an indie game, and not in a great way. So we'll see. So all right, you also have the dungeon experience on your list.
Yeah, I was a little conflicted about putting this on my list, actually. I do appreciate a good, funny game, but I also just wasn't quite clear what was happening in terms of like what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's a comedy first-person adventure about a low-level mud crab chasing his dream of helping you experience the true bliss of financial freedom. Kind of tough to figure out what the fuck's going on in this game, but at the end of it, I said, you know what? It's so fucking weird. I just gotta respect it, and I gotta put it on the list because it's so weird. At one point, you're pulling a statue's nipples back and forth so you can open it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Go look at the trailer. It's very fucking weird. It does not hold back on being very weird. But I found some of the characters kind of endearing, and there's some dialogue there. And obviously it's very comedy centric, which I like. So yeah, I don't know. Go check out the trailer if you think it might be for you.
Are we surprised it's developed by or published by Devolver Digital? Because this is very
Absolutely
Devolver.
not. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
So I am gonna tentatively wishlist it. Go ahead.
this feels like a Smiling Friends, like Rick and Morty style,
Hmm.
like comedy. Um, yeah, I actually when I saw this game, I actually thought of you. I thought like, oh, I can see Dory putting this on her list. I was getting like a Dungeon and Dragons, like were they going for like a Dungeon Master vibe? I couldn't figure out what kind of game this was,
I know
honestly.
I can't either. So I'm gonna just put it on my review, and my wish list. Excuse me, and wait for reviews.
Yeah, so I'll keep an eye on it. I'll put it on my wish list and see what happens. All right, Life is Strange Reunion. I mean, we don't need to really sell this game because
No.
we're both gonna get it, and it comes
Yeah.
out March 26th, so pretty soon.
I am such a diehard Life is Strange enjoyer that this could be absolute cheeks, and I'd still probably buy it day one because I need to figure out what the fuck happens with Max
Yeah,
and Chloe. I don't understand one thing we can very briefly touch on. I don't
yeah,
understand why they've replaced Ashley Birch. Maybe we talked about this last time, but they've replaced Chloe with a different voice actor. This trailer was weird for me. I just can't get used to Max's new voice. Now, when I actually start playing the game, I do get used to it. But this happened to me with Double Exposure too, where I was watching the trailers and I'm like, oh, this is weird. Like I just don't know how I feel about this voice, even though that is the same exact actor as she was before. I don't know why we're not bringing back Ashley Birch. She's very talented, but whatever. But yeah, so maybe it's a union thing. I hope it's not, but maybe it
yeah.
is. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trepidatiously hoping it is at least a solid game. If I even get a 4 out of 5, I'll be happy at this point. I used to want peak out of these games, but for right now, given that I'm not super pumped about the premise, and apparently some people are, I get why, because a lot of us have missed Chloe, but I just think going back to that well is just not a good idea. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, and it's an awesome game.
No worries. Yeah, I'm gonna buy every Life is Strange game day one. Like
Yeah,
even if it's not great.
yeah.
Um, Monster Hunter Stories 3 it actually came out yesterday. It's got mostly positive reviews on Steam. People say the graphics look beautiful. People like the gameplay. I heard some questions about the PC performance issues. I'm not sure, but this is a game I will definitely play down the road. I'm kind of burned out from RPGs right now, but I will play this game at some point. Whether not this year, it will be next year. This is from Capcom, so Capcom is killing it right now, and this game looks like it's pretty good. So, yeah. All right. Ritual Tides. Is it? Which is not popping up on Steam for me. So I have to.
Yeah, it's not on mine either. I don't think it's on Steam. But yeah, I don't know. It says you can add to wish list. Oh, it says coming soon. Maybe you can't add it to wish list.
It seems like it's very far away and it's still like in production, but they
Yeah.
didn't show much. But there's like first person look like and really creepy visuals and really cool.
I love the visuals so much. Now there were some frame rate issues on the
Yes.
IGN tree view and maybe on the original one too.
Yeah.
When I looked closer, I noticed how bad the fucking frame rate is. So maybe it's just poorly optimized. Maybe obviously it's a long way away if you can't even wishlist the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about it. But man, I needed to highlight it just because of how cool the visuals are. Go to the website, which ritualtides.com. They show you a bunch of
Yeah.
photos of the enemies. Looks fucking sick.
Exactly. That's the main reason I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
All right, Samson. We already talked about like what last week or was it the week before?
Yeah, well, we don't need to talk about it again.
Yeah, and then they showed that was interesting to me. It was remothered Red Nun's Legacy. Now I never really played the Remother games, but aren't they like bad generally?
They're not great. I did a little bit of a deep dive and I was like, are these supposed to be great games? And I went through it and it was like either mostly positive or mixed or like none of it was very positive, let alone overwhelmingly positive. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that either of us should be getting hyped about it, even though it's the kind of game that both of us would like.
Yeah, but as you just said, like the genre itself interested me, and I'm interested in what they showed in the story. Even the visuals though were like, oh, look a little cheap, a little could use some polish, but we'll see. So I'll put it on my wish list, and I might like it. It's more of a me game than you, obviously, right? So, um, let's see. You have Yerba Buena. Is that how you say that? Buena. On your,
Yes, Yerba. Yerba Buena is a single player. It's got some puzzle platforms and action adventure. It's very cartoony. It's got a very specific, colorful '70s esque type of comic book look. I want to say
yeah.
very, I don't know, very. What would you call it?
Um, it has like an '80s cartoon vibe to it. I was thinking like
Yeah.
she looks like April from Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so you play as Barb, use the oscillator to capture and reapply the physical traits of objects to solve mind-bending environmental platforming puzzles, which is not my thing. But again, another game that I just wanted to highlight because I thought it looked really cool. I love the aesthetic, which I always say.
Well, it takes place in the
And I,
'70s, so it makes sense.
yes, it is '70s. Yeah. It's developed by Mad About Pandas, published through Focus Entertainment. It's a somewhat big publisher right there. But yeah, it looks cool. You're supposed to save San Francisco from a sinister plot with the oscillator, like I mentioned. Um, yeah, it's puzzle platforming. Um, there's not a lot of other details, honestly. But yeah, I just like the look. I just thought it looked cool, and it seemed like an interesting premise. It felt unique and fresh, but also like retro at the same time. So I liked that.
No worries. All right. You also have the Occultist on your list, which
Yeah, let me get that up.
seems like a more of a me game. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, so this one, so if you look at the tags, it says detective. That was probably the part that really got me.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I love a good detective. He's more of a paranormal investigator than a stereotypical detective. But yeah, there are puzzles here. I probably wouldn't play this game, but wanted to highlight it just because I thought it looked cool and I like the detective-y vibes.
Yeah.
And I do like supernatural stuff in my video games every now and then. So I
Yeah.
thought it looked cool, but you're right, it's more of a you game. So why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, it wasn't on my list, but from what I'm seeing, it's a
Oh,
first-person
okay.
horror game. And you play
Yeah, it
as a
says narrative thriller. It's got some supernatural elements.
yeah. It says Mystic Pendulum, the most important object for Alan. His name is Alan, by the way. First
Of
person
course.
action, survival horror, next gen graphics, hide and seek. Alan always avoids direct combat. You have to use stealth. You have at all times. It says there's
Yeah.
memorable characters and there's puzzles and paranormal detective work. And it's not, I can see this being. I can see you being into this because it seems like it's more
Yeah,
of a
there's definitely
mystery.
some yeah, mystery. There's definitely some aspects of it that I like. I don't
Yeah,
know if I'm clicking with the entire vision here.
yeah, yeah. It seems like this game is very like you're a first person. You're solving like a crime, like your puzzles, and you basically have to stealth everything. I usually don't like.
Oh, we did skip over Project Songbird. Bird.
Uh, oh yeah, project. So talk about Songbird.
So this is another horror game. This one's more psychological and more about the story. I'll add this to my wish list actually. But it is a cinematic first-person narrative horror game set in the Appalachian Forest. Take on the role of Dakota, a musician who must record their new album in a remote log cabin amidst a writer's block. Take caution, however, these woods were never empty. So we've talked about this before, actually. This is the
Yeah,
one where it sounds like the guy is. It sounds like the guy is. Oh man, how it sounds like Joel's voice, but it's not. It's Jonah Scott from Dying Light 2.
you
It's
mean
also got Edith Finch.
you mean Troy
Uh,
Baker?
Val,
Is that what you
yeah,
mean?
Troy Baker. I know. I can't believe I couldn't remember Troy Baker's name, but my brain just shorts out sometimes. But anyway, yeah, he sounds like Troy Baker, but it's not him. And yeah, it looks really cool. And it's done by. It looks like it's done by Fire Games and Connor Rush. So it seems like it's a single dev with some help of a team.
Yeah, this might be a game I forgot to put on my list, and it seems like
Yeah.
more of a me game than you game again.
I mean,
But
I like horror games and I like narrative games, so it's definitely up my alley.
yeah,
Plus the music angle I think is interesting too.
yeah, it stars a actress from What Remains of Edith Finch, as you said, and that was kind of the
Right.
vibes I was getting. But there's like a dark, yeah, there's like a 4 to 5 hour narrative experience. They even said this on Steam, so I'm very interested in that because I might enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy a narrative game that's like 4 to 5 hours. The lighting is really good, and the shadows, and they show like some combat a little bit, and the monsters look mysterious. So I'll keep an eye on it. So this is probably on my list, honestly. But like now, that means I'll have like 30 games on my list now. So all right, let me go really fast now, for the sake of time, because this is the after show. Slash Zero is a roguelite action platformer. As a time hacker, your job is to travel across timelines and explore a cyberpunk world. I thought the visuals look really cool. I love the. I just love like the, the design of the characters. I thought the gameplay looked fun. Cool combat system. You can do a lot of aerial combos. You dashing and vaulting and fighting across multi-layered maps. It says there's diverse multi-dimensional builds. Try out different time hackers and find the combat playstyle that suits you best. So there's different playstyles, which is cool. And it says you will leap across divergent timelines and seek out uncorrupted authority keys, unlock imaginable power. It's a cool like platformer roguelite. I'm curious how the roguelite works here. I need to see some more gameplay, but I thought the visuals were cool. I was kind of surprised this wasn't a like, after show, honestly. Another one was Anomaly President, which is also a roguelite action game. Again, the visuals look really cool. Love the gameplay looks fun. It looks like a fun game to play. Really, that's the best way I would describe it. This is a game I'll really enjoy on a handheld. Then they also had Mariachi Legends, which is a brutal pixel art combat oriented Metroidvania set in the heart of Mexico. You play as Pablo Cruz, a detective who has agreed to a deal with death herself. She has given Pablo the ability to transform into the mighty La Sombra, allowing him to fight back against evil. I just love the visuals of this game. I was getting Castlevania vibes, but like with a Mexican like guacamole vibe. No, because it's Mexican and everything. Day of the Dead kind of thing. I was also getting some of the art style kind of reminds me of Hades, like in like especially the the cover art
Right.
as well. It looks like it's hard. Looks like a test your reflexes kind of game. You have to parry. There's weapons and sub weapons. Um, you form bonds like looks like Persona, and it says there's a day and night and a full moon system, which offers you different opportunities to revisit locations at different times. It changes the experiences. And you get to eat food. You get to cook and do recipes and all that. So that's cool. So I thought this was the highlight of the after show for me. Did you have any interest in this one? Do you know what I'm talking about?
The hack slash one.
The Mariachi
Oh,
Legends
oh,
one.
the mariachi one. Sorry. No, it looked kind of Metroidvania-ish to me.
It is. It's purely Metroidvania.
Yeah, so I wasn't super interested in that. Plus, when I read it was like brutal or whatever, I was like, yeah, I'll pass.
No worries. But I think the big selling point for me is the visuals. All right, the next game is Sagas of Lumen, which is like you literally ride on a dragon. That's the whole game.
Yep.
Now no, I ain't gonna lie. The visuals look rough and choppy and cheap, and when enemies die, they'll turn into ragdolls. But riding on a dragon is such a cool concept, and I might just have fun with the gameplay alone, just blowing shit up. And it even has like combat on the ground, so you jump off your dragon and fight enemies. It's just a cool concept.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, that's a bad idea. Like, riding a dragon is already a really difficult thing for an indie team to put together, let alone a AAA team.
Yeah,
Or a AAA team, let alone an indie team. So I was like, why don't you just focus on that? But
the concept itself is cool, but it looked rough. But it might be fun to play when it's cheap on sale. All right, and then finally for me, it was Barbarian Saga: The Beastmaster, which is a classic hand-drawn 2D Metroidvania action game. It's time for revenge. Use your Beastmaster skills to unleash your inner beast, fight with your heart-devouring sword, and end the threat to Arborea. You decide the ending. So, Metroidvania again. You'll get fangs, amulets, and plant roots will charge your attacks. Enter into a duel with different arenas, different sword technique. And the big thing is that I was getting like He-Man vibes, like the 80s vibe to it. I had like an 80s cartoon vibe, and it looked really cool. I'm not sure I'm going to get this game, but I'll keep an eye on it. It's on my wish list, so I just wanted to shout it out. Overall, the after show was like, I'm kind of interested in these games. I'll keep an eye on it. Probably won't get any of them. And then finally, let's close with Dory's last game, which is Distant Shore.
Yeah, so this was a unique one for me to pick. Again, not typically my thing. This is very heavy on the physics-based parkour in a first-person view.
Yeah.
Again, not my typical fare, but I just thought it looked so fucking cool. You can kind of be like Magneto and move the metal, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
It looked very smooth. Obviously, that's them playing, though, not me. I just wanted to shout out just because it looked really cool. It reminded me, obviously, of Mirror's Edge, but with Portal vibes as well, because you're fighting against a big corporation, and it just felt like there's a lot of sci-fi involved, which gives me Portal vibes. So, yeah, I just thought it looked cool. Simple as that.
All right. So, overall, how would you rate this showcase?
I'd say it's pretty good. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 kind of vibe. Lots on offer here. I felt like the initial showcase was at the right length, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I don't really think the after show was necessary, but they decided to do it anyway. So.
Yeah, that's exactly my opinion on this show. It was just 7 out of 10. Like, a lot of good games interested me. A lot of games I already knew about. Just got to see more gameplay, which was cool. More trailers. The after show was very pointless. I didn't see the point of it, really. Like, it just didn't have... I don't really get the point of it. Like, I feel like there should have been a pre-show. Is the best way I could describe it. But... yeah, I had like almost 30 games. If you combine the games, even the games that I hadn't put on my list that you had that interested me, I just forgot. I had like 30 games, which is pretty normal for me anyway. But yeah, I was entertained, and as you said, there was a nice pace to it and everything like that. All right, so let's get to the last topic of the night, which is my spotlight of Pokemon Pokopia, which is a huge hit. One of the highest rated games of the year. I believe it's the second highest rated game of the year after Resident Evil 9. It's like an 88 on Metacritic, I believe. People are saying this is the game to buy for Switch 2. Like, this is the game to get a Switch 2 for, and I agree. This is like Animal Crossing, the last Animal Crossing game where it was a giant hit. And yeah, this game is Pokemon with Animal Crossing in a good way. Because this game is phenomenal. This is one of the best games of the year. This is definitely the game to get. This when you have a Switch 2. Like, this is what you can't miss this game. This is like Donkey Kong Bonanza. I would probably say this is the second best Switch 2 game to this point after Donkey Kong Bonanza. Because Donkey Kong Bonanza was like a top 5 game for me. And I thought that was a game of the year contender. Although I could see this being maybe in like, I don't know, 30 hours from now. 30 hours more into gameplay, I would think this is the best Switch 2 game to this point. But either way, this game is amazing. And I strongly recommend it. But it's not for everybody. You have to be into these kind of games. So the first thing about this game, it's all Pokemon and no humans. All the humans are gone. It takes place in the Kanto region, like the original region, but every single human on the planet is completely gone. So you play as a Ditto who disguises itself as a human. Now Ditto it doesn't have a gender, so it could be a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter. You can turn into anything. You can use your Pokemon's like HM moves basically. Like as you meet new Pokemon, Ditto can like use Water Gun or use Cut or use Rock Smash and things like that. So it's really unique to play as a Pokemon and have like no humans in a Pokemon game, and all the Pokemon talk to you like full dialogue, and like you interact with them like regular people. It's because obviously you're a Pokemon yourself, so you can talk to the Pokemon. So it gives the Animal Crossing vibes where like basically all the humans are gone and all the Pokemon are homeless and stuck in the PCs when everybody disappeared. And now the Pokemon are out and they're basically homeless, and you have to help them find homes and build a neighborhood and keep everybody happy and cozy. And yeah, that's basically the whole premise of the game. So the first pro of this game is it's very relaxing. This is one of the most chill games of the year, and all about exploring and rebuilding the town and the neighborhood with Pokemon, right? It's just very cozy and laid back. It's Animal Crossing vibes. Like, it's a kind of game where you're at the doctor's office, or you're waiting on the bus. You're like sitting on the bus or sitting on a train or going on vacation. You're on a plane, and you just accomplish something, right? This game is a big time waster. You're going to spend hundreds of hours probably on this game if you're really into these games. Obviously, this game is going to appeal to a very specific audience, the cozy gamers. Cozy gamers tend to be women, but not always, right? But this is going to appeal to a very certain strong audience that likes those kind of games. As Dory knows, right? These cozy gamers, Dreamlight, was that Disney Dreamlight Valley, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing. It's that kind of game. All right, so yeah, it's very addicting. You will play this game for hours. You can play this game for like 5 hours, and it just flies by. Like you don't even realize you just spent 5 hours doing whatever you were doing. So people are gonna put serious time into this game. The exploration feels generally rewarding. As you move through the world, you will uncover new areas, little secrets, and bits of lore, what happened to the region. It's kind of like Horizon in terms of like you build the lore through like documents that you find, right, of what happened to everybody in a post-apocalyptic world. And like for example, the Pokemon Center is destroyed, and like there's everything's all the cement everywhere is broken up, and like there's cracks everywhere. Like something happened to the whole climate of the planet, and everybody died or is gone. And you slowly see what's going on through documents. Uh, Pokemon actually help you. Some Pokemon travel with you. You can have any of them follow you, and you use their abilities to solve problems or interact with the environment, which is I think is a cool touch. So, for example, if you need lumber, like you have a scyther who can like cut the wood for you. Like if you need like let's see, if you need like plants to grow, you get a grass type like Bulbasaur or Oddish, and they'll help you grow the plants faster with their ability. And some Pokemon have dig abilities to help you with the soil. You can learn how to use how you can break rocks with Hitmonchan, teaching you Rock Smash, punching the boulders. So you get a move like Donkey Kong Bonanza where you just smash boulders. Yeah, it's the pace is the pace has it can be varied of sometimes being really slow and but for the most part, I feel like I'm making progress overall, and I feel like the mixed different abilities and the different Pokemon you interact with makes it feel unique each time, and it keeps you going and doesn't get bored if you like these kind of games, right? So the new abilities keep the gameplay fresh. As you progress, you unlock new powers that let you reach places you couldn't before. So like at some point you get to the area with ocean, and you'll see like Magikarp and Slowpoke, and then the sandbox mode is great. There's a big area where you can just build and shape your own Pokemon paradise. I've seen crazy neighborhoods already that people have done, and this game is going to reward people. I guess I can see this game having very, 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 very long legs and DLC support and being around for years. This is going to be one of those major games that's going to last forever. People still play Animal Crossing, and it got a Switch 2 edition, I believe, this year as well. So that's this game. So imagine combining Animal Crossing, which was a gigantic hit, one of the most highest selling games of all time, with Pokemon, which is the highest, the most popular media franchise in the world, and you have just like an instant seller. This game is going to be a game changer for the Switch 2 in terms of like sales. It's just monumental popularity. So we'll see. Any questions about the pros, Dory?
No, I don't have any questions. That this game is, I'm just gonna excuse me, say this up front. It's a Pokemon game which I've had mixed interest in for years now, but also it's like a cozy Pokemon game. I don't really like cozy games generally. No disrespect to Kim, who loves a good cozy game every now and then. This actually might be up Kim's alley, to be honest with you. But we don't have a Switch 2, which is the other huge issue. Or is it for Switch as well? Is it just Switch
No,
2 or
Switch 2 only.
Switch 2 only? Lame. So yeah, those are the reasons I'm just not going to have many questions, just because it's not really for me. But I am very happy for Pokemon fans. They're finally getting an unambiguous win. I know Scarlet and Violet on gameplay terms got good reviews, but it wasn't an unadulterated win just because of all the technical issues. Now they've got the gameplay and the technical stuff down, which is great. So genuinely happy for people who are going to love this. It's not for me. It's not
Yeah,
my kind of game. But yeah, I think it's awesome that it's happening for folks who love that.
yeah. But that said, it's not perfect. There's some tedious and repetitive objectives. There's some moments where the game drags a bit and it feels like filler, and the pace starts falling off a bit, and I'm getting a little bored. But like, it's not a huge problem. Like I feel like I make progress for the most part, right? I also forgot to mention it has a day and night cycle that follows real time. So like if you're playing this game at night, it will be at nighttime, and if you play this game in the daytime, it's going to be daytime, and it changes different Pokemon and different how things grow. So make sure you play this game at different times because you're gonna have if you keep playing this game at night only, it's going to be only nighttime the whole time, and Pokemon will be sleeping and things like that. There's some quality of life features that other games have that this game doesn't have. Like some things you could build on, right? I think some of the cons is that the beginning is slow. It holds your hand too much in the beginning. It takes a while to get going. There's like so many tutorials and like this is how you do this and this is how you do that. Now this is very typical for every Pokemon game, but this especially does it in this game. It's like it takes a while to get going. Once you get the freedom, you'll have a blast. But like in the beginning, it's like okay, let's get on with it. Like it's pretty straightforward. I've played many of these games before. Can you give me an option to skip this? Like I don't need you to. You couldn't even do that anyway. Like it's the way the game's designed. You're kind of stuck in a. Sometimes you're stuck in a main objective and you can't do anything but do that main objective, or you can't progress. So that happens sometimes. This game can turn into a checklist, the video game, and that's basically what this game is. here's a checklist. You need to do this, 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 this in order to progress. So you need to break this wall. You need to make the even like for example, you need to get the area to rain. So you need to help escort a slowpoke all the way up to the Pokemon Center, and you need him to do his rain dance ability. But in order to do that, you need to make the whole area humid. So in order to make the area humid, you have to grow more plants and break the rocks and release water around and just make it more swampy. And that's the kind of thing you do in this kind of game, right? This Pokemon, they're all over the place. Like they'll ask you to do things for them, and they need homes, and you build them homes. And like like a ghost Pokemon wants a doll, and if you give him a doll, it takes you to like this island of resources. And Dory, you know what this kind of game this is. It's a resource management survival game.
Yeah, for sure.
Not every side path exploration pays off though. Like the exploration is generally fun, but like in terms of like the secrets and stuff, you can break a wall and like spend like for example, I was breaking a wall and I was going deeper and deeper and deeper in this hole just to see where it leads up to, and it was just nothing. It was disappointing. Like Donkey Kong Bonanza, when you dug it really deep in holes, they would still have coins and diamonds and things for you to pick up, or bananas, secret bananas. This game doesn't have that, unfortunately. So I thought that was kind of it's some of the rewards for exploring to be lackluster overall. And I already talked about how the main objectives can kind of force you in them, and you have to do them to progress, and it gets frustrating because like I want to do this and I'm stuck doing this now, and I have to spend my night or my free time doing this when I don't want to. So that happens sometimes, and I assume you don't have any questions about the cons. So, right, Dory? Right, close it out.
Yeah, I don't have any. Sorry, I thought I was muted, but I wasn't. Yeah, I don't have any questions.
All right. So overall, this is a 9 out of 10 for me, and I think this is my second favorite game of the year. This is the game I'm probably gonna put the most hours into, outside like World of Warcraft. So like single player game, this is like gonna be my main game on Switch 2 for the year, and I'm gonna be playing on and off all year. Right, this is the kind of game you kind of just have fun with that. You never really you can beat the game technically. There's a whole story to it, and like so you can beat it. But this game is gonna have very long legs. I'm sure it's gonna have DLC. It's multiplayer. You can play with your friends. They can come visit. You come visit them. As the it's you know what. I mean, do I have to explain what kind of game this is? If you're a
I
gamer,
don't think so.
you know what this is. It's Animal Crossing with Pokemon. Like that's the whole game.
Yeah,
Like this is the game where I think Kim would really love it, and I think this is the game to get a Switch 2 for her.
yeah,
And you would just benefit from that anyway, so you can play other Switch 2 games. But like,
right.
if there was any time to get a Switch 2, it'd probably be now for Kim. But I know it's expensive right now, so
Yeah, it's very expensive. But if it wasn't so expensive, I'd consider it more.
yeah.
Trade in the Switch we have, and maybe the Switch at her mom's too, because nobody uses
Does
that
she
either.
does she like Pokemon, or does she know
She
anything about?
does. We played Diamond together. I think we played Sword together.
Yeah,
So she likes Pokemon. She's obviously aware of it. You know, she's around my age, so
yeah.
we both grew up with Pokemon to some extent or another. And she likes those Animal Crossing games. She has like, I mean, this is nothing compared to some people, but she has like a good 30, 40 hours in Stardew Valley. Kim, how many hours do you have in Stardew Valley? 50? Yeah, she said 50, which is like nothing for a lot of people, but for her, that's like huge dedication because
Yeah.
she almost never dedicates that long to a video game. So,
Yes, she would love this game.
yeah.
And I love this game. I think it's, like I said, my second favorite game of the year so far. I think it's going to be my top 10 by the end of the year. I don't see it being dropping out. I mean, yeah, it's early to say what's my top 3, top 5 because it's only March, but I'm pretty confident that this game is going to be my top 10. I also think I'm confident Resident Evil 9 will be in my top 3. So I'm not sure what's going to make any of those, what's coming out that's going to make Resident Evil drop, right? So I this might be my favorite. It might probably be my favorite Switch game of the year. I'm not sure what's coming out though this year. We might get a 3D Mario or something, so we'll see. But yeah, this game is amazing. I strongly recommend it, but it's not for everybody. Only get this game if you like these kind of games. You gotta know what you're getting into, right? So amazing game, but I only recommend it if you like these kind of games. Don't get into the FOMO. Everybody loves it and talking about it, and I see it all over social media. But do not play it just because everybody else is playing it. You have to actually like this kind of game. This is checklist the game. This is like
Yeah.
cozy, slow, build a neighborhood and hang out with your friends, your Pokemon friends that talk to you kind of game. So it's chill.
Yeah.
It's nice to have
I
that
think
game.
I agree. I think for me, in terms of games that could possibly displace Resident Evil 9 as my game of the year, I would love for it to be 007 First Light. It's probably not going to be.
Yeah.
But more realistically, Phantom Blade Zero, maybe, if I
Yeah.
just absolutely adore the combat, or Marvel's Wolverine, of course, could be amazing.
Yeah.
Tides of Annihilation, if it hits.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, there's a few contenders, but it's stiff competition because I thought Resident Evil 9 was just excellent, if not incredible, one of the
Yeah.
best Resident Evil games. So we'll see what 2026 has though.
Of course, then GTA 6 is the big question. Is it going to live up to the hype? Which is the hype is like astronomical, like
Yeah,
beyond. Like if it doesn't get like a 95 or something like that, everybody's gonna look at it as a failure in a way.
yeah.
So we'll see. All right, that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. You all have a good night. I'm gonna enjoy my spring break where I have a week off, and then I'll see you next weekend, which will also be during my spring break. So
Nice.
you all have a good night. Any last thoughts, Story?
Yeah, I think next week is Life is Strange. I want to say, is it next week Life is Strange?
Doesn't
That's
sound
my
right.
prevailing
I think it's
thought.
12 days from now.
Damn. Okay. Well, we're almost there, everybody. And then Replace is I think next month, so I'm excited for that too. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a great March so far. We're gonna get some slightly colder weather, and it's gonna go back up and back down. So typical New England. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.